You were talking in your sleep.
Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Now today I'm going to be doing my yearly roundup of the best albums of the year. So this is going to be a top 10 list today. I think last year I managed to do a top 20. For me though, I've been a bit more, I'd say, conservative with the new music which I've been buying this year. I could probably stretch it to 20 but I just thought that I would limit it to these 10 I've owned 8 of the albums on this list. There's 2 other ones which I don't own. And as I will just say, this is just my personal opinion. So if you know the content of my channel, you probably will have a rough idea of what is going to make it onto this list. This would not be a definitive list of the best albums of the year. If you wanted that, I would direct you to Vinyl Collector James's channel. He does a fantastic top 50 list. He's just uploaded the first part of that the other day. So yeah, he does a fantastic roundup of all of the year's best music. For me though, these are just going to be 10 of my personal favourites from the year. Before we get started with the actual albums, quite a few artists this year released standalone singles. It's a trend that seems to be coming back because quite popular again, the 60s. The first one, one of my favourites, Noel Gallagher, has put out a couple of EPs this year. So we got Black Star Dancing back in June, which was fantastic. Every track on here is really great. Black Star Dancing, Rattling Rose, and Sail On, all fantastic stuff. So that's the first one. And then a bit later, in the year, we got This Is the Place here, which isn't quite as good. I'm not a massive fan of the title track, and Evil Flower is one of the worst solo songs he's done. But I absolutely love A Dream Is All I Need to Get By. That definitely makes this worth it. So yeah, Noel Gallagher released 2 EPs this year. There's another one coming early next year, which I'm very much looking forward to. And another surprise release, which I really wasn't expecting this year, was from Paul McCartney. It was a Record Store Day Black Friday exclusive single. 2 new songs called Home Tonight and In a Hurry. Both of these are outtakes from his last album, Egypt Station, which came very close to being my album of the year last year. And these are 2 outtakes, and I would say these are better than, say, about a good 90% off the material on Egypt Station. Both really fantastic songs. Songs like this, look at that little picture disc here, a little bit pricey, but I mean a Record Store Day exclusive thing, so quite limited edition this. But yeah, 2 fantastic songs there from Paul McCartney. Okay, so now we'll move on to the albums here. So I have ranked these in a top 10 list, which I will go through. But I would just stipulate again, these are just the ones which I own, and the ones which I've listened to and enjoyed over the year. They're certainly not the ultimate top 10 albums from the year. But yeah, we'll just get started with number 10. Which I'm gonna go to this album here. It is one I bought kind of because I am such a fan of this artist, but it is far from one of his best albums. It is Morrissey's album California Sun, which is a covers collection, and most of the stuff in here isn't really all that great. There's a couple of good ones I like, Morning Starship and Wedding Bell Blues, but like, apart from that, there's not really much on here to get excited about. So yeah, that's Morrissey coming in last place and number 10. Next up is one which I don't actually own, but it's by a band called the Twilight Sad. Like, they're like a Scottish rock band, and I seen them like when I seen The Cure, like they were like supporting like The Cure, and they were fantastic live. And like, yeah, like this is like a great album. It's called It Won't Be Like This All the Time. Came out right back like at the start like of the year. Like, unfortunately, I never got around to getting like a copy of it, but it is a really solid like rock album there. So yeah, the Twilight Sad come in at number 9.
I can't get you off of my mind, no matter how.
Okay, next up now at number 8 is this album here. It's Richard Hawley's album Further. So again, I see Richard Hawley live this year. He was supporting Paul Heaton and Jackie Abbott like back in June, when I seen them. And again, they were fantastic live. I believe Vinyl Collector James actually bought me this one, I think for my birthday or something. And of course I would urge you all to go and check his much superior top 50 list off the year's best albums. again. But yeah, this is again a really good album. I probably like the songs like which are a bit more upbeat, like a bit more guitar driven stuff, like Off My Mind and like Alone. I think especially like on Off My Mind, he sounds a bit like Iggy Pop. He's got a really sort of like, he's got a kind of like deep, like sort of like menacing voice that go on like that track, like which I really like. He also like Is There a Pill and Amelia Says, like it's a slow one, but like again like a really nice tune there. So yeah, that's Richard Hawley's album Further, coming in at number 8. Next album up at number 7 is again a one which I unfortunately don't have a copy of, but I'm going to give it to Temples and their album Hot Motion. Now I've been a fan of Temples like for like a little while, loved their debut album Sunstructures, and although this isn't a patch on that album, this is still a really solid sort of like modern psychedelic rock album. Like again like there's a lot of like there's a lot of like really like good tracks like audio. So yeah like if like you're a fan of like that sort of like psych rock sounds, like kind of like throwback like to like the 60s like in like a lot of ways. Yeah, Temples Hot Motion like is like a good one there, coming in at number 7. Next one up at number 6 is from one of my all-time favourite artists. Like it's always great to get new music like from like an old favourite. However, this album was maybe a little bit like of like a disappointment, like maybe not quite as adventurous like as I was maybe hoping like it to be, but it is the latest one from Jeff Lynne's ELO here, and it's called From Out of Nowhere. This is one like with like the lenticular cover, like of course, like so it's quite difficult to get the light right on it. But yeah, a solid album here like from Jeff Lynne, but it is very safe though. It's very much like what we would expect, but that is like strong melodies, like sort of like good production like on it like throughout, and like yeah, like it is like not a bad album. It's just a bit short. It's about 30 minutes like it clocks in it, and like I personally do like much prefer like his last one, Alone in the Universe from 2015. But say that, I mean this is like only the second album like off like original Jeff Lynne material like in about something like 17-18 years. So yeah, like it has been like a long time coming like again, but like again it's always nice to get new music from the one and only Jeff Lynne. The next album up now at number 5 is by a band originally from the 90s, like, but they are still going now. This is Ride and their album This Is Not a Safe Place. Like for fans of like Oasis, like this is like the group where Andy Bell like was originally in, like and I believe like he's like since like gone back like and like rejoined Ride, and like yeah, like this is a great record. I really like their last album called Weather Diaries. That has a couple of really good songs. This for me is just a bit more consistent like throughout. Like I think this is a stronger album like overall. Favorite track is Future Love, which is yeah just a really like incredible song. I love that one. I love the like acoustic guitars, like echoey vocals on it. It all just works so well. So yeah, Ride and This Is Not a Safe Place coming in at number 5. Next up now at number 4 is probably the opposite of like the Jeff Lynne one. This is an album which I really wasn't expecting too much from, because this band have not put out like anything of like any sort of like substantial quality like in I'd say about getting on for 40 years almost now. But this was a really pleasant surprise like of an album. It is the latest one by The Who, imaginatively titled Who. But yeah, this is still a strong album I think from them. My favourites are like I Don't Want to Get Wise, Bees on a String, Hero Grand Zero, and Break the News. Yeah, there's just a lot of good stuff like on here. Like it's very, if like the artwork like looks familiar, like it's done by Peter Blake. I think it's very similar to Paul Weller's Stanley Road album. Like, but like aside from that though, I mean this is incredible record here. Like a really strong sort of like comeback album like for like The Who, whose last album from 2006, The Endless Wire, really wasn't anything like to write home about. This one though I'd say is maybe their best album since, well, I'd say it's certainly like the best album since Who by Numbers, but maybe even the best since Quadrophenia, like, which is saying something. But yeah, a strong record here, like, from The Who. I've been waiting for this moment for too long. Next one here, like, another album which I maybe, like, initially didn't have too great, like, expectations of it, but I think, again, this is much stronger than this artist's last album. It is Liam Gallagher's second solo album, Why Me, Why Not? And yeah, this is just a great record. I think it's a lot better than As You Were, which only had, like, say, that 1 or 2 standout moments on it. Whereas this one here, like, especially like the first side, it is really strong. Like I would say, like, it's probably better than like Noel's like EPs like from like this year, like, which, like, for someone like me, like who like has always been a massive like Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds fan, to be saying that this is better than like Noel's stuff, like, really is like saying something. But it is a strong album here though, and like hopefully Liam like continues like the momentum that generated like from this record. So yeah, that is Why Me Why Not. Next up now at number 2 is probably the most, like, I won't say mainstream, but probably like the most like contemporary artists like on this list. It's his debut album, and it's Sam Fender and Hypersonic Missiles. Yeah, I've just really like taken like to this guy. Like, I think like he writes great lyrics. Like, he's got like a great band like as well. Like sort of like the music like what it is. Like, it's very upbeat, like very like uplifting. I like the use of like the saxophone like as well. Like, reminds me like a bit of like Bruce Springsteen, like in like some ways. Like, I'm not a Springsteen fan, like, but like I think like it really works like on like this album here, tracks like Hypersonic Missiles, like Will We Talk in the Morning, like, yeah, like there's a lot of like good stuff. Saturday, so yeah, like definitely that one that worth checking out there, like Sam Fender. We're coming at number 2.
In my defense.
Okay, so now for my number 1 choice, and I'm going to give it to Lloyd Cole here, and his latest album, Guesswork. So yeah, I've just again really taken to this album. I think it works because it's slightly like experimental. It's sort of like a different sound like for Lloyd Cole. Like, but he has sort of like done like this like electronic style of music before, albeit like sort of like an experimental like avant-garde album. This is the first time where he sort of combined that with like his like lyrics like and voice, and I just think it really works so well. Like, there's tracks like Night Sweats, Violins, Moments of Whatnot, like When I Came Down From the Mountain. It's just an interesting album, like I think like quite a chilled out, relaxing listen here. And like, yeah, like I had a great time like seeing him live as well back in, when was it, like October, like I said, I got on like my ticket. So yeah, like it was fantastic live, like it was an acoustic show, but yeah, like the whole video, like I've done like a whole like video like about that. But yeah, Lloyd Cole will come in at number 1 on my list. So yeah, that has been my roundup of the albums of the year for 2019. So yes, I hope you have enjoyed this video. I will be interested to know what some of your favourite albums are down below in the comments like from this year. And yes, I will see you all next time for the next video. Goodbye.
I shouldn't wonder, but I do. I shouldn't care.